All right, here we go, guys. And a couple months back, I did a video comparing new boat pricing, specifically looking at a bunch of boats I reviewed at the 2020 Miami Boat Show, and comparing the 2020 prices of those boats to what those boats cost in 2024, factoring in inflation. And I'll include a link to that video in the video description of this video. Instead of new boats, this video will be an anecdotal look at used boat prices and what direction they're heading. Now, it's difficult for a layperson like myself to get used boat prices, what used boats are actually selling for. So instead, I'm going to enlist the help of my favorite website, thehulltruth.com, which is the world's largest boating website, and it features a very active forum where members can list their boats for sale. And why can this help us get an understanding of where used boat prices are heading? Because these sale ads will indicate when that boat was originally listed, what the initial asking price was, and how prices have dropped over the past few months. Again, this is all anecdotal, but I do think it reinforces my belief that used boat prices are indeed decreasing and coming off the insane highs that boats were listed at during the whole, low interest rates, free money, people stuck at home, COVID phase, that peak phase from 2021 to 2023. Specifically, we're going to look at 3 boats and what they cost on the Hull Truth as of the end of December. And we're also going to look at 1 boat that I think is priced right. And we're also going to look at some Freeman build slots for sale, and I'll explain when we get to that part of the video what I mean by that. With that all out of the way, let's just take a look at the first boat, the first used boat for sale on the Hull Truth, a 2000 Grady-White 272 Sailfish. All right, and here is that ad. You'll see 2000 Grady-White Sailfish. It's got Ox 66s, the Yamaha's 225s, 45K, originally listed for sale back in June of 24. Again, this is end of December 24. And you'll see it does have a lot of older electronics, but in addition to that, a lot of work has been done to this boat over the years. You see the owner very meticulously listed out all the work they've done. And you'll see the boat is actually in really good condition. And the Sailfish model, for those of you that don't know, it's right up there as one of my favorite Grady-White models because it is a walk-around boat. It has fishing room in the back. It has a little bit of fishing room in the front, but you can get to that bow relatively easily. It's a 2000 model, so it does have the SeaVee 2 hull. So there, a quick shot of the front of the boat. You can truly walk around it. You can fish off the front too if you wanted. And you'll see that, as the months continued, there are a lot of questions about the boat, a lot of comments on the boat. People like the boat. It is older power. That's going to be a negative against it. At some point, you likely will have to repower this boat. But notwithstanding that, at 45K, I think in 2022-23, this is a boat that would have sold right away. And you'll start seeing after a couple months, the price drops are starting, 40,000. Getting lower and lower and lower until, we're at $30,000 as of the last time the seller updated the price, which represents a 35% reduction in the cost of that boat. Big reduction. I think, it's probably worth $30,000. I think if you were in the market for that type of boat and you could live with that older power, very reliable power, I might add, $30,000 is a decent price. But it did start at 45 in June. No bites on it. It's down to 30. We got a Contender 21 up next. Yeah, and here's that, a 21-foot Contender. It's an older hull, 2009, but it does have new power, or newer power, 2015 250. That's the SHO motor. So it's the 4.2-liter block, the newest generation of Yamaha 250-300 motors. Very reliable, probably the most reliable, in my opinion, larger engine, that 250 to 300 horsepower engine out there. My opinion only, comes with a trailer. Original price was $55,000. A 21-foot boat. I know a lot of you are going to say that's a lot, but in 2022, 23, I think this boat would have sold immediately. See, it has a trolling motor. It's really a well-outfitted boat. And again, listed a few months back. We're now at the end of December. Still has not sold. And the seller is down to $40,000 or make an offer. So you could conceivably get this less. Again, all anecdotal, but I think it's evidence that that boat market is absolutely shrinking. We're going to jump now to a boat that I have an attachment to, a 2022 Eastward Catamaran 30-footer. Many of you know I own the 24-foot version of this boat. So without further ado, let's jump to that boat. Yeah, and here it is, that 2022 Eastern Horizon 3000, listed back in March. So we're going on 10 months, coming up on a year. And this is outfitted and set up exactly how I would set it up. And when we see the pictures in a second, you'll see it looks a lot like a longer version of my boat. But better electronics, I think. You see it has the open array radar. It has a lot of the features that my boat does. That mezzanine seating you see right there with the cooler underneath. It's got a trolling motor, twin Mercury V8 300s. Again, very similar to my setup. It has that step-up bow with the storage. This has fish boxes. It also has index storage. My 24 doesn't have that. It has the corner live wells. Has a water tank, a freshwater tank, which mine doesn't. The two 12-inch screens, very similar to mine. Radio's in the same spot as mine. Really neat electronics. Has a porta potty. Just like a stretched version of my boat. And $250,000, if you were to build this boat today at the Eastward factory in this configuration, you're probably looking at somewhere in that $250,000 to $300,000 range. So, this was priced as, again, harking back to 2021, 2023. I think this boat would have sold in a heartbeat at that price, but we're not in that phase, and you'll see the price continuously dropping, and fast forward to today, it is priced at $195,000, which is a 22-ish% reduction from when this gentleman originally listed the boat back in March of 24. I think it's worth every penny. Again, I'm a little biased. I own that brand. But yeah, if that boat was for sale in, let's say, February of 2023, I think it sells immediately at that original asking price of $250,000. My opinion, again, these are all my opinion. Welcome debates in the comments, but this is all my opinion. Let's jump ahead now to a fourth boat, a Sea Hunt 25. Probably the most popular mid-size center console in the U.S. And hey, here's that Sea Hunt, that 25 Gamefish. It's a 2009 model. $98,500 is the asking price back in August when this seller listed it. What they didn't say in this description, honestly, not one of the better descriptions, not a lot of information, is that the two Yamaha F-150s are newer. They're 2019, 2021s. They have relatively low hours, and the boat looks clean. Not brand new clean, not pristine, but, a pretty good deal. A little high, I think, considering, I think brand new with twin 150s, you're probably in the 140 range if I were a betting man. We'll see at the boat shows coming up, but I think you're there. It doesn't have two screens, it's just one screen, but really a very nice combination of family and fishing features on these Sea Hunts, the Gamefish series. And you'll see he's constantly lowering the price, and at the end we are at $69,000. The seller needs it gone. A roughly 30% reduction since August, in 4 months or so, how much that boat has come down since what they originally listed it for, which was almost 100,000. Now let's jump to a couple of build spots for sale, specifically Freeman. And those of you that know what Freeman is, Freeman are offshore center console boats. Amazing ride. I just chartered one out of Marco Island in Florida. Fantastic. And for the longest time, like a 3 or 4 year waiting list to get one built. Freeman has done a great job, building up their factory in South Carolina, getting more boats pushed out. And yeah, that demand is decreasing ever so slightly. And for years and years and years, what a lot of savvy people did, something called arbitrage in the finance world, they would buy a build slot, and as that build date, and typically back then you would need $10,000 down. I believe it's $25,000 now, but $10,000 years ago. And as your build date got closer, you could flip that build spot for 30, 40, 50, 60,000, somebody who wanted to jump the line or somebody who wanted an immediate build spot. So that's the background here. Let's look at the first ad. And this first Freeman build spot for sale was originally published back in August of 2023. You can see the seller is asking $47,500. This is a $10,000 build spot, so asking almost 5 times what the seller paid. Sad story, right? Couple of spinal surgeries. They're looking to get out of it. And I think the end of 23 is when we started seeing the used boat market starting to normalize. And I think this is a good example of that. I think 5 years ago, even pre-COVID, this would have sold like that. That's a snapping noise I made. I know you can't see me, but I made the snapping noise. And that price is going to come down. You're going to see the seller confirms 10,000 of whatever he sells it for is going to go towards the build, because that's what they had put down presumably a few years before this. And ultimately it is sold. The last offer that they made, that the seller made, was $24,000. So presumably it sold $24,000 or less. Let's look at another one here at 28, 34, 43 build slot. And you can see with this one, the original asking price, early 24, January of 24, a year ago, was $65K. Didn't look like they were getting any offers, no movement on it. They finally reduced it to $25K. Not sure, it hasn't been updated in many months. But yeah, that's a $40,000 reduction in just a couple of months. Again, I think it's indicative that used boat market and the new boat market are slowing down. I get these are build slots, but again, this would have gone like crazy just a few years earlier. It probably would have sold for that original asking amount. Now let's end the video with one boat I think is actually priced correctly. And that boat is another boat near and dear to my heart, a 2011 SeaVee 34B. Many of you know I used to own a 2005 SeaVee 310B, which is really the 32. 245,000. Newer engines on this one, just like mine, twin 350 Merc Verados. Those are the inline 6 supercharged motors. Yeah, amazing boat. This will be some boat porn for you guys. We'll scroll through these pictures. A fantastic boat, and you'll see as we scroll down these pictures, the seller is staying firm with that $245,000 price tag. You'll see it's got a second station with a buggy top, great electronics, very reliable engines. Only complaint about this one, maybe a tad underpowered with twin 350s. Certainly you're not going to be able to get up on plane with one engine, but a fantastic boat. So I think he had it priced right from the beginning. He's not lowering the price, but it hasn't sold yet. So there you go. Let me know what you think in the comments about the video, my interpretation of the used boat market. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you like these videos, hit that like button. If you're not already a subscriber and you like content like this, please consider subscribing. And if you're not already a member of the channel, please consider joining. Lots of perks associated with that, including early access to videos.